Welcome to Friday Takeaway. I'm Nadia, Hassan together with Sulhi, Azman. It is a really, really gloomy Friday out there as far as I can see, but in terms of weeks also, it's not great, hasn't it? It's been very boring actually in general in terms of corporate development.
Yes, quite boring and quite flat as well.
Except even though it's earnings season, and usually earnings season gives some frisson of excitement, but it doesn't seem to. So what actually happened is this week, and actually what's going to happen a bit later, is Malaysia's 2Q GDP. We've got two different analysts who are saying two different things, but not that far off. Afin Huang says GDP is going to slow for 4%, not as good as it did in the first quarter, which is 4.2% because of lower private consumption and investments.
Yeah, and of course, if you look at the Singapore DBS research, they are saying that the GDP is going to remain the same at 4.2%, as they think that the domestic events will remain on the steady keel.
Yeah, okay. So the other big things, of course, is interesting this week is tweaking to corporate governance changes. Don't you find this really, really interesting? The fact is, you know, it strengthened the requirements for the board composition. You wonder whether it's because of certain developments, let's say, that, you know, now they require boards to have a majority of independent directors. And here's one of the things that stood out to me. Your independent directors cannot serve more than 9 years. So you get fresh change, fresh views every single time.
And then they also cannot be, they cannot hold the last position as CEO in the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you take of it? I mean, it definitely, we already have corporate governance to a certain degree, but this way, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think, you know, because of the recent developments, you know, this aims to strengthen the, you know, the corporate governance structure to make it more robust, I suppose.
So then, moving on quickly to also Proton, DRB Highcom's plans for Proton. It was a big thing at the beginning of the week. Apparently, there were reports that said that it might actually sell its stake. DRB Highcom said, "No way, Jose." And then they said, you know, they're looking for partners, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and of course, I know yesterday the meeting minister, Tok Pa, said that Proton will still be kept. You know, the government will not meddle in the Proton's problems.
Yeah, okay. So Tun Musa Hitam also launched his book this week. You can actually watch a whole collection of clips for us. You know, that's actually on our site about talking about, you know, how he feels about Malaysia, Malaysia today, Malaysia tomorrow.
Frankly speaking, right?
Exactly. Very interesting. EPF also hosted its International Security Conference. Topics were discussed, including EPF introduction of Sharia-compliant retirement funds as well. Oil, which we've actually not touched on for quite a while. We talked about consulting firm Bain & Co. says global oil market, it needs to actually understand the new normal, which is like US 40 to US 50 per barrel in the next few years, with lackluster in the space.
Yeah, so we go for the recording, you know, the oil is trading at 46.11 per barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, looking out from oil, we're looking at Bursa Malaysia. This week, investors are eyeing weaker US economic data. A lot of, you know, 2Q GDP numbers, like you say, to be Bank Negara. I don't know. GDP numbers are sentiment moving, but they're not really market moving as per se. I think more are interested in, like, there's any kind of leads. Oil prices are one of those things they're still looking at. At 10 a.m., FBM KLCI up by 4 points at 1,683.75, if you want to be exact.
We're economic Bursa Malaysia was up by 1.1%, right on the recovery of other prices. Year to date, it is still up by 1.8%. Now, ringgit, Nadia, it has strengthened for this week, you know, by 1% to 3.9. But as you give for the recording, it shows a slight depreciation to 4 ringgit.
And yesterday, Malaysia's IPI index in June 2016 had an impressive growth of 5.3%, the highest growth this year. But you know what? It means nothing really for market, because these kinds of things are laggards. I mean, they're economic indicators. Yes, economy probably better than some people thought, but in terms of market moving, it's not really going to move the market, is it?
But this, you know, the growth was riding on the manufacturing, also electricity indexes.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see, right, whether that really translates into the market in general. Moving on to notable stocks and earnings wraps for this week. HSS Engineers, actually, they're a new listing. We're welcoming a brand new person to the stock market in a year that's been very, very, very dry. So they're an engineering and services company led by Dato' K. Sitampalam. And
they're also listed on the ACE market of Bursa Malaysia on Wednesday, 10th of August. IPO price 50 cent per share. Market cap was 159.5 million ringgit. Raised 31.9 million ringgit via issuance of new shares and private placements, Nadia. And the stock is non-Sharia compliant, by the way.
Why is that interesting to you?
It's just that, you know, for those investors trying to have some kind of, you know, Sharia compliant stocks for as part of the investment.
Well, they're an ACE market, but is that interesting to you?
Well, it depends. I think investors are looking for. Some investors are looking to place their funds in certain stocks that could comply with the Sharia principle, I suppose.
Well, the reason for their listing is they're expanding footprints in India because they're trying to ride India's government move to spend 1.2 trillion in nation's infrastructure, which is absolutely huge. But India in general, you have to remember, it moves really slowly because of government will. Sometimes because of all the way the governments work, it's very, very difficult to implement stuff, but still it's a very, very big stuff, very big step. 47% of the money, or 24 million, has been allocated as planned to go to just India alone. And then they are looking at Middle East as well. Qatar also plans to venture into water and power.
Yeah, and of course they're also eyeing for facilities management services, which will saw some recurring revenues going forward. Now the stock price, Nadia, very impressive, up by 29% since listing on 10th of August, now 64.5 cents per share.
Well, I wonder whether it's because it's pent up and people are just looking for a way to enter the market. And then the other thing is that, but you do have to remember, right, when it comes to IPOs, on your first day, if you have a really, 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 really high premium, that can mean that the company didn't value the stock correctly. There is a chance, because that's why you could have gotten more money on the table for them. MIDF has given it a non-rating call, but 16 times PE, he says, justify given its low market cap. Interpac has subscribed, right, at 62 cents per share. So moving on also to RCE Capital. This one was very interesting because it hit limit up yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually staged at 38% limit up yesterday. Impressive 54% gain since July, up from 70 cents to now trading at 1 ringgit and 10 cents, up by 1.5%. As we go for the recording.
Yeah, exactly. So volume trading heavy as anything at 12 million shares. Like we say, limit up 38%. They say it's because of the first quarter results. Net profit jumped 86% to 17.5 million on higher interest income, improved risk-based products, higher fee-based income for them. Revenue rose 38% to 50 million year on year. I mean, it's a big thing, but I wonder, again, is it the pent-up demand? Is that why people are looking at it?
I think so too, because if you look at the RCE Capital, right, it's a company that provides loan to government servants, so I mean it's like 1.2 million government officers, and of course they're going to ride on this growth. So
just we finish up, we're looking at Taliworks 2Q earnings. Their infra company, they own Cheras Kajang Highway and water assets. They have roped in EPF as strategic investor. It's kind of always been there. Shares have been rising by 17% since early March. I don't know whether or not you can catch the wave. 10 a.m. today is unchanged at 147. They had really, really good earnings, but the really, really good earnings of eightfold was actually mostly because of a one-off.
Yeah, it was because of the waste treatment disposal business in China. And of course, analysts, Xiaomi Research initiated a call, on July this year.
Yes.
Yes, with a target price of 175 cents.
Yeah. So next week we are going on into more stuff, and more stuff is infamously earnings. It's going to just be earnings. It's going to color Bursa Malaysia. You have the plantation guys, which is KLK, whose building we're in right now. Malakoff, Tanchong, all of those will be very interesting to look at. In terms of economy, as we digest our 2Q numbers, Japan they report their 2Q GDP on Monday. Apparently Shinzo Abe is on a golfing holiday at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully, he will try to figure out how to actually make epidemics work. During golfing sessions.
During golfing sessions. Thailand is also doing so, is Philippines and Taiwan. But that's all for us actually this weekend. If you actually want more, there's always the papers for you to go for. Edge Weekly is going to be out tomorrow. Edge Daily, of course, is out today. I'm Nadia Hassan. He's Sulhi, Azman. Good trading, guys. Have a good weekend.